Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Top Tier Talk. This week, we're going to start with Chavez, who had a week of two halves. Man United are out of the Champions League, but they beat Liverpool 0-0 about half an hour ago. So, Chavez, take it away.
Thanks, Dan. We're not just out of the Champions League, we're out of the Europa League as well. We have failed to come third in a group that consisted of Copenhagen, Galatasaray, and Bayern. All on Onana. That, to be fair, I actually don't blame Ten Hag at all for the Champions League. This was solely down to one goalkeeper, and in that game, we just
Who
didn't
hired
give
the
enough. It
goalkeeper?
didn't. Hmm?
Who wanted that goalkeeper?
He's interrupted already.
Absolutely, me. He's also got the most clean sheets in the Prem. He's just. We needed to tell him that it's a Premier League match, and unfortunately, that's all it is. Bayern were better than us. Bayern didn't get out of second gear. If need be, I think they would have, and they still would have beaten us because I don't know why we didn't push for the game more. We're not clinical in front of goal. We had that one chance with Bruno and he missed it. Yeah, it was just it was we were outclassed. Simple as.
Didn't
And by
De
the way,
Gea?
Musiala is a brilliant player. Musiala was the best player on the pitch, and he's a genuine number 10. It's nice to see a footballer like that in 2023.
I was just going to say, didn't De Gea win the Golden Glove last season for the most clean sheets? So, what's so good about Onana doing it, or currently doing it mid-season?
Do you know what? That's an incredible point, Dan. And one example of why it's good for Onana is today. I will go into his performance today at Anfield and why it was so good and why it's something like De Gea would not be able to pull what Onana did off today. Yeah, but not much on that game. I'll go on to the Liverpool game actually.
I do want to say,
Man
before you
United.
go on to that one, I just want to say thank you very much to Manchester United and Newcastle. I mean, the coefficient's gone down now, so fifth place doesn't get Champions League. So you two are a disgrace to the whole of the English Football League. So thanks for that.
Why does that matter to you as a Chelsea
Because
fan?
we could have got fifth somehow. So I
Somehow.
know
Okay.
somehow
The only
through everything we could have got fifth, but no.
No,
Or
the
even
only
an
teams
Aston
affected
Villa.
by this
An
are
Aston
Man
Villa.
United and Newcastle and
Huh?
Villa, maybe. We're the
exactly.
ones affected
Maybe
by our
Villa.
own
Villa's
downfall.
title charge. They're getting UCL
You
next
still
season
can
already.
get Europa Conference League if you really try. So moving on to the Liverpool United game, Onana. I will talk about why Onana was so good in this game. I think a lot of the coverage after the game was about how Liverpool's crowd was poor, which, to be honest, these guys don't do it. Sky, all of them, but today they did, and the reason for that is very simple. As much as Liverpool are known to have a poor atmosphere after the first 5 minutes, today Onana from the first minute gets the ball and he completely diffused the game. Every single time he got the ball, zero worry. The most simple pass. Sometimes he did misplace it, but it never looked like we were in trouble. And him and Varane were outstanding at that. They completely diffused the whole atmosphere. It was like being in a. Onana said himself after the game, he didn't feel anything from Anfield, which is quite funny. I thought Liverpool were poor today in front of goal. They need to know how to break down low blocks if they want to win the Premier League because Arsenal are very good at that, and Liverpool showed today that they could not do it. For a team that won 7-0 as well. And by the way, Van Dijk came out after that game and said that only one team was trying to win. They were up against a team missing 6 first-team players and could not win. And he was up against Johnny Evans in the back, who, by the way, was brilliant. But to come up against this team and come out with excuses, you should be winning either way if you're a Liverpool player. And if you really are one of the best centre-backs in the world, to have that mindset of making excuses, I don't know. I don't see it with him. So aside from that, in front of goal, Højlund was poor. I think now it is time to criticize him. I know he's only 20, but in games like this, he should be scoring, and he hasn't scored for a while now. And the biggest problem, aside from that, is he doesn't actually put himself in the game. He doesn't get involved. You know, when you're going to Anfield, you're going to be in a scrap. You have to really get in there. He didn't do that today. Garnacho had one chance, wasn't that good with it. Anthony's just angry, and sometimes his anger works for us. Sometimes it works against us and his family. It just depends on the day. And the last person I will talk about, well, actually, two people. I'm going to talk about all of them today because Scott McTominay was made captain today. I think Erik ten Hag will be sacked one day as Man United manager. This was the first time in my life that I think Erik ten Hag should deserve the sack. I still won't say he's out, but today was really, really poor. To make McTominay captain, I have to say, is one of the most disrespectful things a Man United manager has done in history. I think it's really disrespectful to everything that has been done by previous managers to have a player with the incapabilities of Scott McTominay, who's one of the worst midfielders I've ever seen at the club. And you saw it today. He doesn't know how to pass. He did one good pass. Aside from that, the ball bounces off of him. It's like having just a stick man who is completely vertical, running about. He has no footballing ability. I know people in Sunday League that can play better football than him. The only thing that goes for him is his physical power when he runs with the ball, and he's done well in the gym. But the gym is maybe where he should have stayed. He's a poor footballer, and we are really suffering from him scoring random goals in random moments. It's not helping us, those goals, because he continues to play. Kobe Mainoo was the best midfielder on the pitch, despite the fact that Liverpool spent 60 million on Szoboszlai, 30 million or something on Endo, Gravenberch, all these brilliant players. Why was Mainoo the best? You have to ask Jurgen Klopp that. Why did they sign Szoboszlai? He had the ball so much he could have affected the game. Salah was poor today. Diaz was poor. Nunes is shit. You have to, I know as much as we criticize Man United, you have to look at Liverpool for what they are as well. And they said they're title contenders. This was not the performance of title contenders. It was poor. And they shouldn't make any excuses.
No, just gonna weigh in here myself. The only probably thing with Onana, I mean, like he's been very good recently. I mean, since you can only get better from that poor start he had. I'd still say from crosses he's a bit dodgy. I don't know if you agree or the decision making, but I think apart from that, he's looking like if he just carries on the way he probably is a turns out as a good signing.
You see what I mean? Where if De Gea, you're right though, by the way, with the crosses, he's the same as De Gea. He doesn't really impose himself. But if De Gea played in that game, we couldn't actually have played out from the back. That was the big difference from the 7-0 to now. We actually played out from the back and we kept the ball, and Anfield was quiet because even when they were pressing, when you press Onana, there's not really much point. He's quite good with his feet, contrary to what people make up. So yeah, I think that was the big difference. Having a player like Mainoo to make up for the deficiencies of McTominay was helpful. Amrabat needs to go back home. Aside from that, it's random things that can fly about. But I think the big takeaway from today was Ten Hag's first decision, which I think was sackable. And this is only the start. I think it's a long road for him. This is a big result. Maybe it will keep him in for the next few months. But making decisions like that, I thought it was really petty to do that because I think he's just trying to send a message to players like Varane and Shaw. I don't know why, but McTominay didn't deserve it. So
another thing, obviously, we've seen rumours of potentially Graham Potter coming in if Sir Jim Ratcliffe takes over, etc. Would you be happy with Graham Potter as your new manager if Erik ten Hag gets the sack? What's your thoughts on that? Or if he does get the sack eventually, who is your ideal replacement?
I mean, even though I've said it was a sackable offence, I don't think I would ever be Ten Hag out unless he made McTominay captain next week. Then I'll be back on that road. He just needs to stop doing that. So no, I think Potter would not. The problem with getting a Graham Potter in is he's also a project manager. Why would you start from day one with him when you can just continue with what Ten Hag has built and what he's learned on the job since now? Let's say Ten Hag was a complete fool at the start of the job and he was an absolute brain dead idiot who came to the club, which he was not, by the way. He still had 19 whatever months to learn what he's learned. So even a brain dead idiot would have been okay to keep. To bring in Graham Potter and start from day one would just be pointless with this new ownership. It's a horror decision if we do it, but we will. If Ten Hag was to be sacked, all these Zidanes, Hansi Flick, all these flashy names that people cry about, they're not going to happen. We'll end up with Graham Potter. He's a British man. We've got a British chief exec from our new owners. Everything will be British about us. Passion. McTominay will probably be captain permanently. Who knows? Graham Potter also, I think, was a big fan of Conor Gallagher. So these players, these managers, what they look at is the player who tries the hardest. And to be fair to McTominay, I'm sure he does try the hardest, but he's not a good footballer. And I know he knows that deep down.
Rez, I have a question. If you wanted to weigh in on it, you have any opinions on the referee today?
Okay, I will try and keep it less
as PG as possible.
I would love what I want, and we've talked about this before, is just explanations. Like what goes through his head. Unless Diego Dalot has said something verbally from his mouth in which he is, I don't know, he's, implied that he's going to kill him or threaten him or hurt him or anyone that he loves in any way, I don't see why that's a red card. And I believe it was literally for the action he did. Now, to give 2 yellows for that, Michael Oliver must have felt really unsafe on that football pitch, and I hope he's mentally doing okay and he gets the support he needs in the next week or so. And I hope he's actually able to referee next week because it must have been really terrible what happened to him on the pitch, an act of terrorism on him. And yeah, I hope he's okay. And our thoughts are with him as a football club.
Top tier talk is with Michael Oliver and Lisa.
We have a moment of silence. Moment of silence for the
for Michael Oliver.
And lock Diego Dalot up, by the way. If he's committed a crime on the pitch, why is it only a red card? Yeah. Why not a further ban? He must have incited some real hate speech on that pitch to be sent off twice.
To be fair, there was a yellow card on Rashford that was toward the end as well, when Rashford put in a quality tackle against Tsimikas as well, and there's a yellow card. I was like, what the hell?
Follow through of that one. There was a bit
follow through. What do you want? Like,
it wasn't actually that bad, the follow through.
Yeah, he was
okay. Those happen. I think Darwin Núñez sarcastically clapped the ref while being on a yellow card, and that was okay.
That's a red card.
So clearly,
Yeah, but the thing is, if you start
That's a
dishing
red
out
card.
cards like no tomorrow, then walking on the pitch is a yellow card. You're not allowed to do that anymore. You
But
have to
no,
run
but-
on
It's
the
really
pitch.
difficult
You have
to
to,
hold your
yeah.
emotion.
But that's
Yeah.
why this rule was brought in place for like respect towards referees, which half the
Respect
time
towards referees should
half the
never
time
be
they
the
don't
case.
get. I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Yeah,
we
but they
need
don't
like
deserve it.
I'm not saying they all deserve like what happened to that referee in Turkey like last week or whatever it was.
Oh,
But
bloody hell.
that's what I'm saying. They don't deserve that because that's just obviously
I
pushing the
don't know
boat
what
out way
happened.
too
I don't
far.
know what's for that.
He probably got less of a ban than
Probably.
Diego Dallo did
But
today. innit?
that's if same as when they brought VAR in, it's slightly different, but the same principle. It was shirt pulls and things like that were all penalties, and there was like 4 or 5 penalties every match week, and people were going, "Well, I'm not going to really do that anymore," and they stopped doing it, and that's why I think they've brought this in and changed that and going any little bit of dissent or showing like for a yellow card is now a yellow card for them. I think they're trying to get rid of that like out of the game. Like they're
Yeah, but the
pushing
thing is,
this whole thing about the FA and respecting the rules of the game and respecting our game
the thing
when
is though,
there's
sorry,
they've
yeah,
hired.
I
I was
thought you-
going to say when they've hired idiots. I suppose is
Well,
probably
that's
the
what
best way to do it.
that's exactly what I was about to say. I was about to say like all these rules and like bullshit that was made about the game like recently about handball here or this and that the other was made by idiots who have never played the game in their life. They're just people in charge of a lot of money and just go, that shouldn't go ahead. That's ridiculous. We need to profit off that. It's ridiculous. Like if you go play a game of football, most things that happen on a game of like football isn't a bookable offence. You have to understand that most of the time, a yellow or a red is basically a warning to say, look, calm down. Like you're actually gonna get off.
But that's what
A
they
red
bring the
card,
dissent in.
yeah, but this is the thing. A red card, in my opinion, is something that the referee is saying to the player, "You're too dangerous to be on this pitch now. Like you should get off this pitch." And for like a small little decision here and there to say that's that bad, I think's too like small and I just think it's
I mean, he's
stupid. The
trying
whole
to make
thing.
an example of him, but
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah, but it's
it's
getting
not.
too.
It's too much. Yeah,
It's too
he's-
much.
They're doing over the.
It's
so
also
they
hard to make an example, as you were saying, like using that because he doesn't referee every single game. So there's no way of him setting an. For example, we mentioned it before about the FA making an example out of Everton with their points deduction, because they will then join up against City and against Chelsea and further instances because they are one governing body. Whereas referees of any game, they don't referee every single game in the Premier, so it's hard to make an example. If that make I don't know.
To
Do
be
you know
fair,
what I
I
mean?
think there's got to be an essence of common sense in these sort of decisions as well, though. At the same time, like the whole kind of rule about handball, the whole rule of dissent, the whole rule of this stuff, it kind of needs to be based off common sense.
I
Like if
know.
as Shaved said, if Dallo basically said to Michael Oliver, "I'm going to kill you," then yeah, fair enough, get off my pitch.
Well done. We don't have
It's
a
too
conference.
stupid.
But the only thing I will say is because it's such a high pressure, high performance sport. They
But
have
then
a
it's
very,
ruining the
very.
derby as well, isn't it?
It's ruining the derby. But lucky was the end of it. But they have such little time to make a decision. Like imagine like 60, 70K people just on your case. So like you
But
got
they've had that for the past 10
human
years.
error
It's
is
been
going to
fine.
happen. Yeah, but human error is always going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, but human error is more frequent at the moment for some reason.
If we give them more time, the more the crowd, the boos, and all this stuff, and then they make quicker decisions. It's bound to happen. But
Bring Barclays back, Barclays Premier League.
Proper Barclays. I suppose that brings us on to the filler team of the episode this week, Amir, Chelsea. Finally
yeah,
getting congratulations on your winning your relegation 6-pointer.
I know. Thank you. Yeah, Chelsea beat a low block team. I never thought I'd hear that for a while, but we beat Sheffield United 2-0. Awful first half, but second half, Cole Palmer playing a part in both the goals, showing why he is quality and why we should be still paying another 50 million, which should be going out to Manchester City very, very soon for letting us have a player so talented and young at the same time. Couple points in the game. Petrovic came in for Sanchez. A lot of Chelsea fans saying, "Oh, look how calm Petrovic was." He didn't have anything to do all game. Literally nothing to do. One basic free kick save. So I'm not looking into it. Give over. Badia Shaw was fantastic. I think he's cementing his place in the centre back role. Just who we partner with him. He's very good, calm and cool on the ball. And Caicedo yesterday playing as a box to box, very, very good. Probably one of the better players on the pitch. Calm on the ball, the dribbling, breaking down play. Maybe that's his position. Maybe that's why Poch said he needs a sitter because it allows Caicedo to be more of a box to box, and maybe that's where he is best. But yeah, back to Cole Palmer. A great finish for the first goal, Raheem Sterling assist, and in the second one, very quick thinking to give Jackson an easy tap in to score his 7th goal of the season, which for a donkey isn't too bad, I think. 7 goals isn't too bad. But we got
Your
the win.
words.
Pardon?
Your words.
Yeah, my words
and
as
naming
well,
him
and a lot
donkey.
of others, obviously. I mean, Yeah. What can you say more? 7 goals. If he hits 10 goals this season, I think it's an impressive starting season, to be honest.
Which we had the discussion at the start of the season, just take back to United for a second. Obviously, Shivesh, you touched on Hoyland and stuff. And you said, it would be a surprise to you if he got 5 goals because very few
No,
players
it's
come
still
in.
gonna be. It'd be a surprise if he
And
reached it by
it'd
the
be,
end of the
it'd be a surprise if he
season.
gets 1 goal as it
Don't worry.
stands.
One
But
goal that is.
but in
I was
terms,
right.
yeah, obviously in terms of Jackson, obviously as you said, approaching the 10 mark. In terms of it, it's a bit like Darwin for in the case of if he could actually put a few more away, he'd be a quality striker. But it seems like that like people like Bambi on I like his goal against Spurs, for example, even though he scored and rounded
An accident, didn't mean it. So.
Vicaria. Yeah, but even though he rounded it, like he still scored the goal and he's still getting clowned. It's things
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Like, if he just goes about and still gets to 10 goals, I mean, we haven't had a striker hit 10 goals since Costa, from what I remember.
We're not even halfway through the season yet either.
I know,
We're
so it's actually
coming
low
up
key
to it.
quite impressive. And Cole Palmer's got 11 goal involvements, I think, in 14 games. It's also impressive as well for someone who I did actually question the signing. The only issue was obviously I was at the game yesterday was no Nkunku. I did want to see a little bit of Nkunku because he was on the bench. So I don't know if he's gonna get him
You
on in the
can't rush him
second
back.
half against Newcastle because we got them in the EFL Cup or what's gonna happen. But yeah, that's the only kind of shame really. And we have no fullbacks at all for the club. Well, apart from Malo Gusto's just back, but Disasi was playing right back, who was god awful as a right back. And obviously Colwell's still playing left back, whereas Cucurella's now injured as well. Until February, I believe he just had surgery.
What
So
happened to
yeah.
him?
I think he got an ankle injury and got surgery on it. So he's not going to be back for a while. So we actually don't have any left backs at the club and probably Malo Gusto. Obviously, James is out till February, March again.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, that one's confirmed
Yeah.
last week as
Oh
well. So
my
yeah.
God,
I can
this guy. Sell him in the summer.
I can see Newcastle sort of tearing you apart.
Really?
Well,
Oh.
in terms of they've got a brilliant chance at winning a trophy here. You've got very few fit
I'll back our
players.
chances as well. I mean,
Do you not think he's going to
game,
make a
isn't
lot
it?
of rotations?
No, I
Both
think
teams will, though.
both
I
teams.
don't
Yeah,
think Newcastle will. They're out of the Champions League. They're not going to win the Prem. They've got the
we're
FA
not in any
Cup or the
other
League Cup.
competition. This is probably our best chance at the moment of winning the
But
trophy.
that's what. But that toyed with, as you said, you haven't got any wing backs. You've got to make a makeshift defense. But then it's like, do
That's
you
got
play?
loads
Do
of injuries as
you
well.
know
I
what
mean,
I
if
mean?
Nkunku comes back as well and starts making a difference early on and having an impact, then
I
you
reckon
never
it's
know. I
starting
think it's a
Kunku.
one-off game. I think maybe you're right. If you're going off the 4-1 and the Reece James sending off, fair enough. But it's a one-off game, isn't it? We'll
Yeah,
see.
no, I just thought maybe, as I said, like rotations. I think Newcastle have got no reason to not go for it. I understand you both got
Of
injuries,
course, we
but
expect them to.
yours are
Yeah,
key injuries, I suppose. But
yeah. And I think we're home as well anyway, which helps as
doesn't
well.
mean anything really at the minute. I mean, Enzo might get a start. If Enzo gets a win, is
Oh,
it a
I think
brilliant?
the Enzo thing is
Is
interesting.
it
I
a
don't know if
Prem?
he was just for that game, it wasn't suited, but I'm pretty sure we've got enough games he'll come on. He'll probably should have an involvement
Fingers crossed.
in that game. Yeah, fingers crossed. Maybe he's trying to make an example out of him. Who knows? But Enzo was pretty good when he came on as well. Enzenia Fernandez. So yeah,
Insigne. I
Mudryk
think that
Mudryk a bit iffy. He had a Salah moment. Do you know when? I don't know. You guys remember for Chelsea, Salah took a shot and it went out for a corner or a throw in instead of
Hmm.
hitting the target. So Mudryk had his moment there as well. So maybe it's the start of the Mudryk. I don't know.
resurgence.
Someone did make a good point though. I want you lot to think about. They remember when Vinicius first joined Real Madrid in that first season. He was so raw. He was hated. Benzema said, "Don't pass to him." And someone made that example for maybe Mudryk still learning on the job. And I think it's a bit strange comparing them two, but it's something interesting to think about. He's still quite raw, but how long do you give a raw player to make improvements?
I think in terms of the amount of Chelsea money that Chelsea have got, sorry, I don't think it's going to get long. I think he'll sign. I don't know, sort of spend unnecessarily
Man,
Yeah.
how was
on
Nkunku?
players.
Hmm?
Did Nkunku come on?
No, he didn't come on at all. That's why I was a bit.
He was on the bench. Yeah.
He was on the bench, so I assume in the next couple games he'll be back, and we just hope he'll
Hmm.
have a good start because obviously he could be on a 007 run as well, for all we know.
Well,
So
I was going to say
See you,
double O
James
one, but he
Bonds.
didn't come on.
001, yeah.
001. I suppose that takes us to Arsenal with the draw in midweek in Europe, but again, you're already through, and the victory against Brighton today. That puts you top of the league if I'm
That's right.
correct. Yep.
That's
Well,
correct.
take it away then, Elliot. League leaders.
Yes, unfortunately, the game was not streamed for some unknown reason today in England, so I could not watch the game for Brighton today. But the game against PSV earlier in the week when we drew 1-1, I'm pretty happy with that performance. Cedric came on, was an absolutely balled it out. I'm surprised by that. But Elneny played as well. Reece Nelson played and Nketiah played. We played a good B team. Ramsdale got his UCL debut, which I'm very happy about. Um, Saliba and Gabriel partnership. Obviously, I'm still surprised they both played centre back. Still trying to play them because obviously we had Brighton on the today. But yeah, look, 1-1 against PSV. We were through anyway. So as I say, I'm pretty happy that we played that kind of B team when we played them. And then today, kind of saw a little bit of the highlights when we played Brighton. Havertz masterclass. Amir thinks he's still on a purple patch for some reason.
It
He
is a
thinks he'll
purple
eventually.
patch, 100%.
It's not a purple patch. He's a baller. You just
Well,
sold your
for
best
whatever
player. So
happens, he's
unlucky.
neglecting Odegaard because for every minute
Odegaard had a great game today, by the way.
Odegaard is decreasing in form as well.
Odegaard apparently had a great game
There's a
today.
lose-lose for
He
you
come
anyway.
back.
And you spent 60 million from him, so it's your fault.
Yeah, but we're top of the league and we're 2-0 against Brighton, which to be fair is
You were
actually a
top
good
of the
result
league
for us
last
because
season, doesn't make a
because we
difference.
lost to Brighton for the past 2 or 3 at home against them, so it's a good result against them guys because obviously they're still pretty good, but they played their full team in the Europa League, I believe, to obviously try and get through to the next round of that tournament. As I say, look, I think all focus is now onto the Anfield challenge. Shirez, as you say, you played them today and managed to get a point out of it, which, to be fair, as you said today, if they turn up against us with that same team performance, I reckon we could snatch 3 points against them because it doesn't look like they were on the ball that game. And as you said, if we play that low ball football, we could just run through them and beat them 3-4-0. But it depends, obviously, because we're the title contenders with them, they're probably putting like some sort of like magical kind of juju on us that imagine they'll put like the best performance of their lives in. But yeah, as I say, like 3 points against Brighton at home is quite a good performance, as I say, because
I
we
was gonna
we
ask.
lost.
Sorry to cut you short. So this week, Nketiah, he scored away from home in Europe in the Champions League. Not many
That's right.
strikers get the chance to do that. Not many have the ability. He then assisted a goal which confirmed your win against Brighton. We've got 3 games left this season. What does Nketiah need to do in these 3? Not in this season, sorry, before
season.
the window.
Yeah.
3 games before the January window. What does Nketiah need to do to stay at Arsenal? If he scored a hat-trick in each one, what is it you're looking from him? What more do you
There's
need
not
from him?
much. There's nothing. There's no.
What if he scored a hat-trick next week at Anfield, followed it with another hat-trick, and
great.
ended it with another one?
Then yeah,
3
okay,
hat-tricks.
great. Yeah,
still
3
saying-
catch. Yeah, okay, keep him. Them great. 3 hat tricks. Yeah, fantastic. Who wouldn't keep a player like
20
that?
million onto
That's
the
yeah,
value.
but Chavez, that happening for a caliber of Nketiah, I think that's 1 in a billion. Like if that does happen, then my God, yeah, keep him. Why not? That's a fantastic kind
I'm
of thing.
surprised you don't back homegrown talent, man.
No, you're Amir. You can't say that. You can't say we're not backing homegrown talent when we've put all the focus into Nketiah for the past 3 years and he still hasn't produced anything for us. He was our main striker last season when Gabriel Jesus went out injured for like 3-4 months and he didn't produce anything.
He scored against United a couple of times. He did okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but there you go. That's it.
Everyone
He
does
was in
that.
the room.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
was in the room for a
Nicholas
bit.
Jackson does that.
Not against United, but
Not against United.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Don't you think you're being a bit too harsh? You're expecting your like £0 million player, the player you know he's just come straight from the academy. Why can't he just be a squad player? Why does he have to be sold?
he is a squad player at the moment. That's the thing, though. He is.
Why
a squad
don't you
player.
just sign a striker? Get Tony
Where-
or
where
Vlahovic.
could- where
We
would
are
he
signing
fit in
to. Oh, I hope
Vlahovic,
so
by
with
the way?
Tony. So say again.
Where would Nketiah play? What team? Is it a low-level Prem team? Is it?
Yeah, mid-table. So like Chelsea. No, I'm joking.
No, he wouldn't start for like most teams.
Nah.
He wouldn't start for Bournemouth.
He'd start for
They've got
Crystal Palace, I
Solanke.
reckon.
Yeah,
For
but
Crystal Palace.
Palace says strikers are poor always.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So
Jean-Philippe
he'd go to them and do a job.
Burnley,
I'm saying he's
Crystal
like he's not a starter for
Palace.
us, and he I think he gets like game time. Do you remember Balogun though? We haven't heard much of him. I think he's doing quite well somewhere else. So
If
Yeah,
I
you
remember
sold
correctly,
him.
he tore up. Was it Liga last year?
Liga,
Yeah, like-
he was
yeah.
one of the top scorers.
because then we
He's
put a
up there.
50 mil tag on him, didn't we? Because then I think Monaco
Mm.
wanted him. We said give us 50 mil and you can have him, and they were like no.
So I think
Mm.
obviously you've touched on looking at Liverpool next week. Combined 11.
Yeah, let's do Liverpool, Arsenal combined 11. Goalkeeper is.
Wait. Can we just clarify something before we do? Is it all time combined 11 or is it just the
No,
season?
season.
No.
Season, okay.
Season.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper's
Allison. Yeah,
Alisson.
okay.
Yeah.
Alisson.
Defenders. Right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Still.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Centre backs, Saliba.
Saliba and Gabriel.
definitely.
Saliba
And
and
I would
Gabriel.
say Van Dijk.
I was
Van Dijk.
thinking Saliba and Van Dijk.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Left
Okay.
back.
It's
Tsimikas.
whoever's Arsenal.
Tsimikas
Oh,
or
Tsimikas,
Zinchenko,
isn't
isn't it?
Tobiasu?
Not a left back.
Oh, you have to put Simicast in.
It's got to be
No.
Tsimikas, isn't it?
I'll put Zinchenko in there.
Haven't you been on him recently, your fans?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you last week, Elliot.
not me. No, he's just a bit shaky. Doesn't mean he's doesn't mean he
I think
doesn't deserve this
Simicast has
spot.
been okay. He's done a job for.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you could say Zinchenko's
My
done a
vote
job
goes
as
to
well.
Simicast.
Yeah,
I'll
Okay,
go for
you made- you-
Simicast.
Okay.
That's 3-1 again. Going into the midfield.
Yeah.
Do I ever say in this entire combined 11, or you man is going to pick in a combined 11 of
Jordan's
Combined
Liverpool?
Liverpool 11.
Declan Rice, 100%.
Declan Rice is
Yeah.
the first name, yeah.
Yes, correct. Odegaard is the second name, and Kai Havertz is the third name.
Yeah, Chavez, you
Oh.
just watched Liverpool now. What would you base it off?
Yeah,
this
they
game?
were-
It's not just the one
You put in
I mean,
Szoboszlai.
you could make an argument for Gravenberch, but
No,
I think
it's the midfield three of Arsenal.
It is that three, really,
McAllister.
isn't it?
McAllister
yeah, but
going
he's
great,
injured,
though.
ain't he?
Only
McAllister,
going. I think Szoboszlai still. Szoboszlai, Odegaard. I don't think Havertz deserves to be.
Havertz is a what?
Mr.
What?
Let's put in the purple patch.
He's been a fantastic informed player at the
I
moment.
mean,
He
I'll give
deserves
it
that
to
spot.
Szoboszlai. As bad as he's been better than Havertz.
You might have some
Well,
bias against
Elliot,
Arsenal. That's fine.
what
That's
is your
fine. That's
argument?
fine.
What is your argument for Havertz?
Have you not seen his form recently for the past like 6 games? He's been fantastic. He's been one of our star players. He's been quality. What's Szoboszlai done? What's Szoboszlai done? Did he do anything against United today? No.
Yeah, that's one game, but he has been okay across the
Okay,
season.
exactly. Whereas Havertz has been great
Is
for
it anyone
6
else we
games,
can
as I've
put
just
in?
said.
I think
Is there anyone else we
Szoboszlai's
can put
been.
in? We're going a lot of
Look,
other
I
okay.
can't.
also the
As I
purple
say,
patch.
this is that's fine. Look, you guys put Szoboszlai in.
I
I
could
think
even
Gravenberch
argue.
is 2 games away from being in it. Like, literally.
I even think
Yeah,
we could
go
do.
go Szoboszlai then.
Go on, Amir. Keep
Szobo-
your Arsenal agenda up.
No.
Who
I'd
else?
even go Rice, Szoboszlai, and Havertz. I don't think Odegaard's been good at all this season.
Yeah.
I think he's got more of a.
I would actually, do you know what, I'll agree with that. Rice, Szoboszlai, and
I mean,
Havertz.
why are you shaking your head? We've got your Havertz in. You've got your wishes.
Because it's an Arsenal midfield that should be in that team.
Dan, what do you
Dan,
think?
what do you
At the
think?
moment, it's
I'll go
2v1.
I'll go Szoboszlai.
No,
and
don't just
Odegaard.
go. What is your actual opinion?
Well, I
What do
said
you-
Havertz, but I'm not.
No,
As I said,
Havertz wins because Dan.
Havertz.
Yeah.
Well, no, Havertz is a purple patch merchant, as we've just discussed, and Szoboszlai is an okay merchant. So there's
No,
as
that
much
means
as
Exactly.
much
So
you
as-
don't think- you
bang,
don't
bang.
think
Exactly.
Odegaard-
Thank you.
Okay, then. Rice and Havertz 100% in because you both done it. Is that
And Dan
last
voted Szoboszlai. No, Odegaard only had 2 votes.
one vote?
yeah.
Oh, there you go. He's out.
Wow,
Then yeah,
Odegaard doesn't
do
make
that as the
a
Salah,
very
Crazy.
great
Keep this in.
great-
Crazy.
Salah on the
Okay.
Say that
right.
again. What was that? Oh?
Crazy.
Crazy. Fair enough.
Salah on the right.
Wingers now. Left wing.
Martinelli.
Left wing.
Diaz. Not
No, I
put
think-
a
No, I would say
Brazilian
Martinelli.
No,
bum
it's
in this team.
Martinelli.
Fraud.
It's Martinelli. Dan.
Gabriel
Martinelli.
Jesus up top, and Salah on the right.
Yeah.
Give me Darwin.
Or we could even
Yeah.
push Salah to the striker and put
I'd put Salah up top and Saka right wing.
Saka right wing if we
Yeah,
want to.
yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
What do you mean if we can? It's our video.
I know you want Saka in.
You know what?
I just
Saka
think Jesus has been quality for us. So that's all.
Yeah,
Okay,
but,
okay,
you have a
then.
choice between Jesus and Saka.
Go on, El. Finish it off. Jesus or
Go
Saka.
on.
This
Go
is-
on,
Well,
Elliot.
so whoever I pick goes in.
Yeah, to
this
finish
is your
the team,
front three.
Elliot.
Your front three.
On in Saka.
Okay, thank you. Salah up front.
Manager so
Oh.
far?
Arteta.
Not club.
Anyone back up?
Arteta.
That was, I suppose, let us know what you think of that starting 11 or combined 11. Before we end, Elliot, predictions for next week?
If Liverpool played the way they did against United today, we'll win. But I don't know. It's tough. Anfield's a
Go on,
challenge. So
chuck out a score.
Just
Score
give a
prediction.
score.
2-1 Arsenal.
Chavez, who are Man United playing, and what's your score prediction?
I don't even know. Dan, I don't care about much. I'm joking.
Okay, Chavez, predict Arsenal, Liverpool.
No, we're playing West Ham away, and I think West Ham will, because we had an incredible result.
Kudos
West Ham
will
do
have a
4-0.
quick win.
Kudos.
4-0 West Ham.
Kudos and Paqueta.
Amir,
Paqueta.
who have Chelsea
Yeah.
got? And
We got
Martial.
Wolves.
And who have West Ham got?
We've got Wolves away, I think. I don't know, but I think 1-0 Wolves.
One
Probably.
Wolves.
It's just one game here.
Our podcasts are just up and down. But that brings us to the end of this week. Thank you very much for watching. And until next week, goodbye.